So the album, Hell or High Water, debut came out in 2015. You played Vancouver at the Alexander last time you were here.
Yeah.
The new album is ready to go, Every Third Thought.
Yeah.
Do you know when that's going to be released? I know these are the business questions.
December. Yeah. Comes soon.
And how much can you tell us about it? I know you wrote every single word, every single lyric on Hell or High Water. Is that the same with this record as well?
Well, no. The band, Colin and Pat and Mitch, co-wrote most of the songs with me, and I would say on 2 songs they wrote the majority of those songs.
Oh, really? Like lyrics?
Of those 2 songs.
Lyrics and melody?
Yeah, lyrics and melody. And one song I have nothing at all to do with except I sing it.
So no covers on the album?
No covers. Right. No, we'll do a cover. We'll do a few covers tonight.
Okay, cool.
It's hard for people to listen to new music that they don't know. You know, you got to give them a little something they know.
I heard a great quote from you about your lyrics, and I love this one because I think your lyrics are they're more introspective than boy meets girl, boy loses girl kind of stuff. But you said, "I'm 54 years old. I can't write about girls in cars."
Right.
That would just come off as very silly. Do they come from poems to start, or are poems and songs different?
Yeah. Well, they don't come from any poems I ever wrote.
No.
They don't come from actual poems, but poems and songs and lyrics are very different. A poem is just words on a page, and the words have to carry everything. A lyric has to make room for the music and has to somehow augment the music. They have to work together. Right. I mean, obviously. So, you know, a great lyric is not necessarily a great poem, and a great poem is really hard to be a good lyric. I mean, you have hymns. You know, like Emerson, Lake and Palmer did Jerusalem. Did you ever listen to that? Yeah. Which is beautiful. It's a Blake poem. I mean, it's William Blake. So, but that's one example of a great poem that made a beautiful hymn or tune.
I love that I'm here talking to David Duchovny about prog rock now.
Yeah, prog rock.
Great. I love ELP. It's great. I also understand.
I think they get a bad rap. ELP. I was a big Yes fan when I was in high school. I don't think I'll ever write music that has any resemblance to that stuff. I'm not that kind of musician.
Yeah.
Those guys are like PhDs and
you don't say to the guys in the band, "Hey, can we do something in 7/4 or 9/8
Exactly.
It doesn't happen.
It's a little too jazzy for me, but I loved Yes. Even Gentle Giant, remember them?
I do. Okay. Even early Genesis with Peter Gabriel and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You're a Steely Dan fan?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a guitar player. Walter Becker passed away just last month, as a matter of fact. Tom Petty as well. What are some of your favorite Steely Dan songs? Did you ever see them live?
I didn't. You know, when I listened to Steely Dan, they didn't play live.
Yeah.
You know, they only played live as kind of a nostalgia, or as a band put together again. It was just Becker and Fagen and studio musicians when they were recording. So I didn't see a lot of concerts when I was a kid anyway, but I never heard of them touring until much later. God, I listened to their albums over and over. I mean, it was back when I went to high school, you didn't have that many albums, and the ones that you bought were really precious. So Countdown to Ecstasy, Royal Scam was big, Kid Charlemagne. My brother demanded to be called Kid Charlemagne for a while. I think about sometimes doing a cover of Deacon Blues or Kid Charlemagne or something like that, but a lot of great. I mean, Real End of the Years is just a great lyric. Yeah. It's a great lyric, and their lyrics are really special because you never get a sense of any specifics with them. You know, it's just a little angle. It's just angled differently from other lyrics.
There's actually, we're here in Vancouver with David Duchovny. There's a Vancouver band, tribute band called Stealing in the Years. They're obviously just a Steely Dan. If you ever get the
I didn't know there was a Steely Dan tribute band.
This is one for Brad, your manager, is here. Can you recall the moment you walked into, and maybe it's not Brad's office, but you stormed in and you said, "I want to make a record"?
No, it was me. I was a friend of mine named Keaton Simons is a terrific musician and singer-songwriter, really supremely talented guy, and I was kind of working on some songs with him just for my own enjoyment. I never thought going to record. We record in his garage, that's it. And I was like, wow, I've written some songs. I never thought that would happen. Now I've got them, you know, somewhere on my phone, and that's cool. And Brad was working with Keaton, and Keaton was playing the City Winery in New York, and Keaton asked me to come down and play and sing on a song or two of my own. Yeah. I think. Was it one of mine? I can't remember. But then I met Brad. That's how I met Brad, and Brad was like, yeah, we should do like you do a charity album or something, you know, like And I was like, that's cool, let's record something. And if I do a charity album, then I kind of duck and cover under the fact that it's a charity album, you know.
Yeah.
And then as we progressed, Brad was like, no, this is legitimate stuff. Let's really go for it. So it was really, it was Brad that was pushing me all along. So it's his fault, really.
You know, you're an actor, a writer, producer, all that kind of stuff. But the first time you walked up onto a stage to sing, did you have the nerves? How were you feeling? Pretty confident, or
not confident? But I didn't have that many nerves either. It's weird. I mean, I think I had a lot of fear leading up to it, and I thought it would be horrendous, a terrible experience. But oddly, just on the walk from backstage to the stage, I just felt like, I don't know, I felt calm-ish, and I had no reason to, because I'm not like a natural singer, so there's no reason for me to feel calm going up there. But at some point, I just realized, and I had this realization as an actor when I started directing, because people would come in and audition, actors would come in and audition, and they would be very self-destructive about their audition. You know, they would not do well, and then they say, you know, I don't want to go again. You know, I said, you know, it was like, and I was amazed, because I was like, I recognized that in myself, and it was just this idea, like, let me just tank as soon as I can so I can get the fuck out of there and eat a pie or something, you know. And I was carrying that over when I first started thinking of singing. Was like, they want to hate me, they want to make fun of me. And then I realized that people actually come out at night to have a good time.
Or in your case, they come out during the day, line up for hours.
Right. So they're not actually coming to laugh at me or to hate me. They much prefer to have a really good time. So I'm going to get out of their way, and I'm not going to sit here and act like this is miserable and I'm terrified, because let's have a good time.
We're going to jump around a little bit, if that's all right. I happen to think the greatest interviewer of all time is Jiminy Glick. You had the good fortune of being interviewed by Jiminy.
Yes.
How was that experience for you? Jiminy Glick, I mean Martin Short, I think he's the funniest man probably on the planet. Yeah. Was that a good time? Do you remember that? Canadian, of course, too,
Jiminy Glick. I love Jiminy Glick. I asked if I could be interviewed by Jiminy Glick. I loved Jiminy Glick the most before people knew that it was a joke. So Martin Short would be on the red carpet in the fat suit and, David! You know, whatever. I can't even remember how it goes, but it was great, because he'd ask these really mortifying questions. And once it was like Martin Short as Jiminy Glick, it was a little less transgressive, because he was really nasty. And I remember, your facial hair is so 10 years ago, I love it.
Yeah, you had the little sort of soul patch.
I had a soul patch.
Yeah.
David Duchovny, you stand for something. I don't know what it is, but you do.
Well, he asked if you ever wore a kilt. And then, I can't remember exactly what you said, but something like reference to you don't want to sit on your ding-dong, I believe.
I said that. I said ding-dong. Doesn't sound like me, but I'm not saying no.
You were being PC on the show.
Right.
But again, I think you clearly have a great sense of humor, because, I mean, you did Zoolander, you're the world's greatest hand model in that film. And I hope this is all right to ask you, Garry Shandling, no longer with us, unfortunately. You became friends with him from doing the Larry Sanders Show. Again, a huge fan of that show myself. My friends and I still talk about going out to paint the town brown. Do you remember when Hank was dating a proctologist? Oh, God. So Gary said, oh, you two going out to paint the town brown? Can you just talk about, I mean, how you met Gary and that absolutely hilarious...
Yeah, Gary I met because I was just started doing the X-Files. It was either the first or the second year. It was probably the second year. And, you know, HBO at that point was... You know, nobody watched HBO. And there was this Larry Sanders Show, and people started talking about it. I started watching it. I had my manager send me VHS cassettes so that I could watch the Sanders Show, and I got obsessed with it. And at the end of the second year, I said to my agents, you know, I really want to rest. It's a hard year, but I want to do SNL and I want to do Sanders. If you can get me on, like, I want to do those shows. So they got me on. I got on Sanders. And I showed up, and I watched Gary do an interview segment with somebody, I can't remember who it was, and the storyline was I was going to, not as funny as it was back then, you'll see why, but I was a guest myself, a young guest, and Bill Cosby was going to go on so long that I was going to get bumped.
You were going to get bumped, yeah.
And I was going to get pissed off and act like a real asshole. So, which actually happened to me the first time I did Letterman. Bill Cosby went on, and I got bumped. And I had flown from Vancouver. I think that's how that storyline came about. I'd flown from Vancouver to do the show, and I had to fly back to Vancouver without having done the show. So I watched him do the interview segment with somebody, I can't remember who, and maybe it was Cosby. And it's clear, he walks right by me, it's clear to me he has no idea who I am. So I get herded into this hallway where we're going to do the scene, and it's somewhat written, somewhat improvised, and we do one take, and he goes, "How old are you?" And I said 33 or whatever. I think I was 33, and he goes, "What took you so long?"
Oh, nice.
And I was like, it's still like, to this day, the night, and coming from Garry, who I so admired as a funny guy, that gave me a lot of confidence forever. I still remember it fondly, and you know, I would always thank Garry for that.
Can we talk about the book? One of the two books, actually. Bucky Fu, Dent. Had to look him up.
Oh, you're Canadian, aren't you?
Apparently his last name is actually O'Day.
Yeah, not as good. Bucky Fu O'Day is not as good a title. It's not bad.
So can you tell the story about Bucky Fu Dent? 1978, he won the MVP in the World Series, but what did he do? What was his role?
You're asking because you truly don't know.
I truly do not know.
Yeah. Well, Bucky Dent is more like a symbol in the book. He doesn't appear in the book except doing what everybody knows that he did in public during that game on that day. So, and I haven't heard from Bucky Dent at all, which is too bad because I think he'd like the book if he read it. But Bucky Dent had hit 3 home runs all year. The Yankees were losing a one-game playoff, winner takes all, and he hit a home run over the Green Monster in Fenway Park, which is a weirdly shaped stadium, very short in left field, but really tall wall. So a poorly hit ball, which is a pop-up, can be a home run. And that's exactly what happened. And Bucky Dent beat the Boston Red Sox. Thereafter, in New England, all over the Boston area of New England, he's known as Bucky fucking Dent. And I heard that phrase when I was in New England, and it always made me laugh. And in the book, the father and son are baseball fans and kind of antagonistic in that one is a Yankee fan and one is a Red Sox fan. And the father is actually convinced that he's not going to die until the Red Sox win it all. And they haven't won for 60 years. And Bucky Dent becomes, throughout the book, becomes a symbol of just like life's, the fact that you get defeated by, you can't ever prepare for what life is going to throw you, that you prepare for, you're not going to understand any of this, you prepare for Reggie Jackson or Mickey Mantle.
I know the names.
Okay, you prepare for the stars, and Bucky fucking Dent breaks your heart.
Shows up, yeah.
So that's really the heart of the book, is that's why it's, you know, all of life is Bucky fucking Dent.
Oh, you're on the X-Files. That was my best Jiminy Glick. I did that.
Oh,
you're on the X-Files.
Can you do that?
I don't know. I don't know if I watched. You do a good job of that.
I know. I didn't know. My back's better.
I'm just meeting you today. I'm safe to say I've never met Gillian Anderson. The two of you have a great working relationship, great relationship outside of work as well. I saw a video from 2015. She joins you on stage at the Cutting Room in New York City, and you guys do a song together.
Yeah.
You're here in Vancouver at the Imperial nightclub on the downtown east side.
Not going to happen.
Not going. Okay. Yeah. Next question.
She might have, but we're finishing up a hiatus week, which I couldn't have known when we booked this date.
Right.
You know, this should have been just a weekend for me. But I came back from New York a couple days ago to do the gig, but everybody else won't come back until Sunday.
Can we do a couple of yes or no questions with David Duchovny?
Sure.
And you can elaborate on the yes or no's. You have, in fact, heard Bree Sharp's song, David Duchovny.
Yes.
When was the last time you listened to that?
When I was doing a reading of I believe it was Bucky fucking Dent at Barnes & Noble in New York. I was in the cab going down to Barnes & Noble, and I got an email from Bree, who we know each other, and she'll email me once every 3 years. So I got this email, and I emailed back and I said, "Are you in New York? If you're in New York, come and sing David Duchovny at Barnes & Noble. So she showed up with her acoustic guitar and sang it.
Okay. Yeah. Did you, in fact, write the character of Hank Moody from Californication that he should play guitar?
Yes.
So that you can, in fact, David Duchovny, learn to play the guitar?
And I believe that Fox Mulder should also learn how to play guitar.
Great idea. Maybe the piano or bass.
It's not so much that he has to learn, but David Duchovny gets free lessons.
Yes or no? Can you speak Latin?
Nobody can speak Latin. It's a dead language, but I took a lot of Latin. That's a yes and a no.
And do you still meditate?
Not enough. I think that's everybody's answer to meditation.
Okay.
But there's an app on my phone called Mind Tracker right now, which is like a meditation app.
Well, because I remember...
I don't know how to work it, though.
there was you on Letterman, speaking of Letterman, where you were talking about going to a Zen retreat, which I thought was hilarious. You shoveling horseshoes.
Did I talk about that?
Yeah, you did.
On Letterman?
That was fun.
Wow. It's true. Did I tell the whole story where I'm shoveling fish, and the guy goes, I can't believe I'm at a Zen retreat shoveling fish with David Duchovny.
Yeah, I can't wait to tell my girlfriend.
Yeah, so that was what it was?
Okay.
You know the story better than me.
And finally, not to get too political, because who wants to go there, but both you and Gillian Anderson supporting Take a Knee, I saw on Twitter. Yeah.
Sure.
All right.
Gestures. Yeah.
Which is crazy because, full circle.
She had no idea what she was doing, by the way.
Oh, really?
I was like, take a knee with me. And she's like, why? I said, it's okay. Let's just do it. It'll be cool. And then the next day she was like, oh my God, it's the biggest thing I've ever done. I was like, I can't believe what this is.
I don't know if this counts as irony or not, but Zoolander.
Takes a knee.
You're in it. Donald Trump has a brief...
Is he in it?
Like a 4-second thing in that movie as well.
No.
Never mind.
It's a good movie regardless.
All right. David Duchovny, there seems to be a lot of other cameras around here while we're doing this interview.
There does.
Is something in the works? Are you documenting something?
We're documenting this.
Yeah?
This is Brad again. Brad wants to document stuff. You know, people are always looking for content, right? Isn't it always about content?
Yeah.
They're getting some content.
Okay. But is this going to be some sort of, hour and a half?
You have to ask Brad. You have to ask Brad. I would imagine we would have to shoot like a concert where we're fully electrified and got the full band too.
Yeah.
This is more of a acoustic kind of a night.
Okay.
Not fully acoustic, but a little stripped down.
David Duchovny, singer, songwriter, director, actor, writer, producer, in Vancouver once again, show at the Imperial here. Are you playing songs from both records, the debut and the new one?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, about half and half with maybe three covers thrown in.
Yeah?
Yeah, so people can sing along and enjoy some of it.
Well, looking forward to hearing new music from you.
Thank you.
But all we have to play us out on is something from Hell or High Water.
What do you got?
Whatever you want. Let's just leave it up to you.
Jeez, that's a hard one. What time of day are we? What time
like,
of day is it?
1 in the afternoon.
So you want a little pick-me-up?
Sure,
You
yeah.
don't want to bring it down too much.
Peppy.
Play on set, on done. It's a little rock and roll, a little punky.
Done and done.
Yeah.
David Duchovny.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.